Welcome back to Book Bite Insights, where big ideas meet bite-sized brilliance. Today, we're diving into one of the most influential self-improvement books of all time, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book has helped millions improve their communication, build better relationships, and become more persuasive. Here are 10 key insights that will help you become more likable, influential, and successful in both your personal and professional life. Key point 1. The power of a genuine smile and interest. Want to make a great first impression? Smile and show genuine interest in others. A warm, authentic smile is like a universal key. It opens doors, breaks the ice, and makes people feel comfortable around you. Carnegie explains that people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel valued. One of the simplest ways to do this is by remembering people's names and showing real interest in their lives. A person's name is, to them, the sweetest sound in any language. Imagine meeting two people at a party, one who barely acknowledges you, and another who remembers your name and asks about your interests. Who would you like more? Next time you meet someone, make an effort to remember their name and ask them about something meaningful to them. Key point 2. Avoid criticism and condemnation. Criticizing people rarely works. It only makes them defensive. When we blame others, they instinctively feel attacked and shut down, making it almost impossible to influence them positively. Carnegie shares a great example of Abraham Lincoln. Early in his career, Lincoln would write scathing letters criticizing his opponents, but after almost being challenged to a duel, he realized the futility of criticism and adopted a more diplomatic approach. Instead of condemning, he started leading with understanding, and that's what made him one of the most respected leaders in history. The next time someone makes a mistake, instead of criticizing them, try saying, "I completely understand where you're coming from. Maybe we can look at it this way." This approach disarms defensiveness and makes people more receptive to change. Key point 3. Give honest and sincere appreciation. People crave recognition. A heartfelt compliment can uplift someone's spirit and motivate them to do better. However, there's a big difference between genuine appreciation and empty flattery. People can sense when you're being insincere, so the key is to be specific and meaningful. Carnegie tells a story of Charles Schwab, a businessman who turned a failing steel mill into a thriving success, not by criticizing workers, but by appreciating their efforts. He once found a group of workers who weren't meeting their production targets. Instead of reprimanding them, he grabbed a piece of chalk and wrote down the number of units produced that day. The next day, they beat their previous record, without being told to do so. His simple act of recognition motivated them to improve. Make it a habit to appreciate at least one person every day for something specific they did. Key point 4. Talk about what the other person wants. Instead of focusing on your needs, think about what the other person wants. The secret to persuasion is aligning your goals with their desires. People are naturally interested in themselves, so framing things from their perspective makes them more likely to listen. A great example is how salespeople work. If a car salesman talks about how fast a car is, but the buyer cares more about fuel efficiency, the sale won't happen. But if the salesman listens and emphasizes fuel savings, the buyer is far more likely to be interested. Next time you want to persuade someone, ask yourself, how does this benefit them? Then frame your request in a way that speaks to their interests. Key point 5. Be a good listener. Want to be interesting? Be interested. Let others talk about themselves, their dreams, and their experiences. Most people are just waiting for their turn to speak. If you genuinely listen, people will be drawn to you. Carnegie shares a story about a dinner party where he spent the whole evening simply listening to a woman talk about herself. At the end of the night, she told the host, "Carnegie is such a fascinating conversationalist." The irony? He barely said a word. Practice active listening. Nod, paraphrase what the person said, and ask follow-up questions. Key point 6. Win people over by avoiding arguments. You can never truly win an argument. Even if you prove your point, you might damage the relationship. Carnegie suggests finding common ground instead of debating aggressively. Consider this. If a customer is unhappy with a product, instead of arguing that it's not defective, a smart business person would say, "I see why that would be frustrating. Let's find a solution together." This shifts the conversation from conflict to cooperation. If you find yourself in a disagreement, pause and ask, "What can we both agree on?" Key point 7. Admit when you're wrong. Quickly and empathetically. People respect honesty. If you make a mistake, admit it immediately instead of making excuses. Owning up to your errors shows strength, humility, and a willingness to grow. Carnegie tells a story about a man caught speeding. Instead of arguing with the officer, he admitted his mistake right away. The officer, impressed by his honesty, let him go with just a warning. If you mess up, try saying, "You're right. I made a mistake, and I appreciate your patience." Key point 8. Make the other person feel important. People love to feel valued. Find ways to make others feel significant by asking for their advice, recognizing their strengths, and showing appreciation. A simple example. If you're at a networking event, instead of talking about yourself, ask the other person about their work and interests. They'll walk away feeling great about the conversation and associate that feeling with you. Next time you meet someone, ask, "What's something exciting you're working on?" Key point 9. Influence by leading with stories and emotions. Facts tell, but stories sell. People are more influenced by personal experiences and compelling narratives than by cold, hard facts. For example, instead of saying, "Reading is important," you could tell the story of how reading transformed your life. That emotional connection makes your message more persuasive. When trying to persuade someone, use personal stories and analogies instead of just stating facts. Key point 10. Inspire others by appealing to their higher motives. When asking for something, appeal to a person's nobler instincts. Frame your request in a way that aligns with their values. For example, if you want someone to donate to a cause, don't just ask for money. Remind them of the impact they can make. Frame your requests in a way that aligns with a person's values, like, "I know you care about education, and this project could really use your support." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this summary, we've got a couple of more book recommendations to keep you on your personal growth journey. First, check out Atomic Habits by James Clear, where you'll learn how small, consistent habits can lead to big changes over time. And if you haven't yet, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey is a timeless classic that teaches you how to prioritize what truly matters and achieve your most important goals. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.